Thanks for joining this video. In this video we will cover a kind cluster installation in which we have one control panel and two worker nodes, and after that we will deploy Nginx deployment and one service which is a node port, and that node port service we will map with the virtual machine port, and we can access an Nginx application. Okay, so first I will open the configuration which is related to which is a YML file related to a 3-node kind cluster deployment. So here we can see that we define, I'll just open my notes here. So here we define a cluster creation by using kind cluster, then API version, then this is a node definition. First one is a worker node and other two nodes are first one is a control panel node and other two are the worker nodes. And by using kubeadmin conf patch, so here I'm using a kind init config, so which is related to initialization of the cluster, and I'm for node registration I'm passing two parameters which is kube reserve and system reserve. So I have passed extra argument because I want to assign memory, so here I'm assigning memory. And why these two components are useful? Because this is a particular use for like a cube hyphen reserved is used for kubelet and kube proxy, and system hyphen reserved is used for OS and system processes. Okay, and then I'll explain this two resource. So one is the deployment of Nginx, so this is under one section. Second one is service. So here that Nginx deployment listen on port container inside that will listen on port 80, and then 80 will be mapped with that service which will target port is like 80 inside the container, but I'm using node port here. So this service is a node port service which again maps with that extra and then here you can see that. So here I define host port. So this host port is like a port which is open on the VM, and this will be mapped with this node port which is a service. So basically when we access 30,000 port on the VM, we access the backend, which backend it will connect to the node port which is the same port like 30,000. Okay, so we will be able to access this Nginx from like IP address and then the port number 30,000 directly from the VM IP, like this, where I just tested earlier in an example. So let me show you what we have, how to run all this. So this is a virtual machine. I'm using UTM. So let me check kind version. This is the version I already installed, 0.31. then we have a kubelet which is already installed, version 1.35, and then I want to create a kind cluster by using that conf file which I have already created. So now the my cluster creation with this name it is happening, and it is downloading that node image to create 3 nodes. One is a control panel node, another two are worker nodes. So first it started control hyphen panel, then installing CNI, then installing storage class, and then joining other two worker nodes in the cluster. So there the whole process become a 3 nodes. We will check, we'll set that context of the cluster. Basically we want to set that, so here I'm setting. So here you can see that Kubernetes control panel is running on this, and localhost and core DNS, which will do the name resolution part under kube hyphen system namespace. So I will check get nodes. So here we can see that one is the control panel node, other two are worker nodes. So if I want to check kind cluster, the name of the cluster I have created, my cluster. Okay, so this is my cluster. So now I want to do the deployment by using I will use this command kubectl apply, and then I apply that YAML file manifest. So here you can see that deployment is created, service is created by using kubectl get all. Here we can see that two container creation is underway, so it will create in some time. We will get running state. So we can use a watch if we want to watch how the resource creation happen. So we can just monitor that all the resource. This is a service resource. Here we can see that node port which is inside the container listening to 80, and the node port is listening on 30,000, which will map with the host port as per that configuration of K8S cluster creation. So there are two replicas. Here you can see one and second. So I'll describe one of the port, kubectl describe pod, and then I want to describe this port. So here we can see that the scheduling of this pod happen on my cluster -worker nodes. So here you can see that on this node this pod deploy under the namespace default. Let's watch again. So here we can see that both of the pods are up. So now our application is Nginx is running, and we'll see the status on that on this virtual machine. So here we can see that because we have exposed and there is already one port open 30,000, so which is mapped by our cluster to as per this configuration. So when we access so let me try to access outside from this VM from my base OS. So this is IP address of my VM, and I connect to this one 30,000 port, and here we can see that Nginx is available. We are able to access the web page by using curl command. Fine, I think we are done with this demo. I'll delete this deployment. Okay, so here we can see whether it's accessible or not. Gone. Then again I will use netstat. This will be there because cluster is still up. So because of this host port, that's why it is listening. Now I will delete that. So let me check what is the command to delete that K8S cluster. So this one is the command. So now all three nodes will be gone. Okay, so we want to check by using that command cluster. There is no K8S cluster. Now if we will check that, see that there is no port exposed on the base VM. So demo is done. Thanks.